I'm going to show you how you can take your existing static application and migrate it over to Google Firebase. The reason you're going to want to do this is because of what you see right here. If you're hosting this in some other provider, you are likely overpaying for it. Let me show you. Currently, my website is hosted on Google Cloud Platform using Google Buckets and a load balancer. Let's head over to the billing table as we see here and expand all of these cost categories. The biggest expense is the networking tab. As you can see here, the cloud load balancer itself is a whopping $18 a month. Now let's head over to Firebase and let's take a look at how much we might be able to pay by moving our application over to this platform. Right off the bat, this tells you the app hosting breakdown. As you see here, 20 cents per gigabyte and no costs up to a certain amount of gigabytes. And down here, it also talks about the hosting costs. And it even comes with a calculator so that you can project based on the volume of visits your website gets, how much you might be paying for. Now, off the bat, if we really increase this to a ton of visits, at most, we're looking at $12 a month, significantly less than if we remain on Google Cloud's load balancer. So let me show you how to get started. Let's head over to the Firebase Project initialization portion. And as we see here, we have a link that talks about adding an existing Google Cloud project to Firebase. So I'm going to select my existing project and then go through these prompts. It also asks to confirm the Firebase pricing plan, which for right now I'm going to keep it at the lowest tier because this website doesn't need a lot. And I'm going to disable the Google Analytics portion, even though it said that it was free of cost. This is the first time I'm doing this, and I'd rather not turn on any additional capabilities. I'm going to fast forward through the actual project initialization and get to this part here. Once you go to the main page, as you see here, it'll tell you if you're on an existing billing plan. But now let's go over to our IDE where we've got our applications code available. First thing we need to install is the Firebase CLI tool. This is going to allow us to initialize our entire project right here within the IDE. If you're interested in checking out how I got to this point with my code using AI to accelerate producing it, check out the above video here where I show step-by-step how I used Replit AI as well as GitHub Copilot to produce this code. It's a game changer and something that can help you no matter how technical or lack of you are. Okay, let's get back to this. After we run the Firebase login, you'll see here, it'll ask me if I want to enable Gemini in Firebase features. For right now, I'm going to say no, just to keep it simple. Next, it's going to ask me if I want to allow Firebase to collect any CLI and emulator suite usage and error reporting, to which I'll also say no. After that, it's going to ask you to log into your Firebase account. So go ahead, complete the credentials, grant the Firebase CLI access to your account. And as you see here, this is what we're granting that permission. And after you complete this flow, we'll go back to the IDE and you'll see here that we are logged in successfully using our credentials. Next up, what we're going to be doing is running the command Firebase init hosting, because that's what I want to do. I want to initialize a hosting website. After I run this is going to take some time, but we're going to fast forward through this and get to the point where we're now asked to choose between these 4 options. Depending on your situation, choose the appropriate one. But I already have an existing project, so I'm going to select that option. I'm then going to confirm which project I want to use, which for me is my first project. And then after that, it's going to ask me some questions such as if I want to use my existing public directory to host the application, to serve the website, to which I'm going to just press enter to keep the default value. And then I'm going to say configure as a single page application. And I'm going to say yes to that. Set up automatic builds and deploy with GitHub. I'm going to choose no for now because I don't expect to be making too many changes to this. And as we see here, it also asks me if I want to go ahead and install the Firebase agent skills. For right now, this is an advanced topic. I'm going to say no, but if you are familiar with developing using agents, you might want to consider saying yes to that. Okay, this is going to create several files, one of them being the Firebase JSON file. First thing you have to do is update the public field here to be the correct directory where your build outputs are. And then add this deploy npm script that's going to make everything much easier to be able to deploy to Firebase. Now with that, all I have to do is run npm run deploy. And as you see here, this is going to both run the npm run build command as well as the Firebase deploy only hosting command. We're going to fast forward through all of this once we actually compile all of the build package, and then see here where it says that the project console has been deployed successfully. Now, it gives me a URL that I can click on and validate that the website is looking good. This is not using the domain I want though. It's just a temporary domain that Firebase gives us. And that's what you see here. We've got 2 default domains, but I want to add a custom domain, which is going to be my business domain. After you add that and you continue submitting here, the next thing it's going to provide you is instructions on how to verify that you own that domain. So for this step here, we now need to go over to our DNS provider. For me, that is Squarebase, and I'm going to access that using my Google account here. Underneath Accounts, Domain, Manage Domains, and then manage this domain via Squarespace. Through Squarespace, I'm going to authenticate, log in, and then once we're here, we're going to expand the DNS tab section, go to DNS settings, and start adding custom records. The first record we're going to add is a type A. With the name, we're going to copy the domain name that we have here and the value provided to us by Firebase and click Save. We're going to need to add a second custom record now. And so in order to do that, we're going to click Add Record again. For this time, we're going to select the TXT type and the domain name to be the same as before. We're going to copy the value and put it over here to the far right and then click Save. Now, previously, since I was using Google Cloud Buckets to host this, I've got other existing record A and record TXT values. And that is why if this takes longer than 24 hours, you're going to want to go back here and actually delete those existing values, because sometimes this is going to cause issues due to the way that this propagates down to Firebase. So that's what I'm going to do here. First thing though is we're going to take our Firebase records and we're going to remove domain name and actually provide an @ symbol to that domain value. This is a Squarebase specific issue. You, on your end, depending on who your DNS provider is, you might be able to just keep the regular domain name. Once we update both TXT and A records domain name to be an @ symbol, next up, I'm going to go back and I'm going to delete the Google Cloud Bucket DNS records that I had created previously. And this way I should only have one A record and a few other TXT records. Now, if we go back to my website that used to work, now it says it can't reach it. But if we come back to Firebase and we click verify, we'll now see 2 green check marks saying that we've successfully verified that we own that domain. After that, Firebase is going to take a little bit of time to provision the SSL certificates so that we can secure our website. In the meantime, if you go back to that domain name, you'll see that it'll mention that it's not secure, but we'll still be able to access everything successfully. While we wait for that SSL certificate to get created by Firebase, let's go over to, in this case, my Google Cloud Buckets account and delete all of these in order to not continue accruing cost. I'm going to delete the bucket, but then I'm also going to go over and delete the 2 load balancers you just saw me delete. This is going to make my new billing a lot lower and only be accrued by adding our Firebase usage, which for originally I'm going to expect it to be under $5 a month. And if my website picks up traffic, it might go up a little higher than that. Now, again, depending on which cloud provider you're using to host your website, you might not need to do this, but I wanted to show the complete steps in terms of how we're migrating this from one platform over to a Firebase hosting platform. Let's go back to Firebase, and at this point, you'll see here it says connected, which means we've got an SSL certificate issued. So next time when I go to this website, as you see here, it shows that it's secured and we're ready for business. If you found this video helpful, please be sure to like the video and share it with someone else, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel for more tech-oriented content around using AI to develop solutions, and also for more additional content surrounding home ownership and DIY do-it-yourself home repairs, maintenance, and renovation projects that will save you a ton of money. I'll see you in the next one.